Hi everyone, I'm JD, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to show you how I make these fabric cover journals. I absolutely love them. This fabric, I got it from Jane from Junk Journals Done Under group, and thank you so much Jane, I absolutely love it. This material is me, it's blue, it's floral, and you gave me so much and I can't thank you enough. It is so beautiful. And I wanted to make some covers out of it, so I had to, just because it's just that beautiful. And I made two, and this is, I will link it below, but Charlotte Peterson, I think that's her last name, does a tutorial on how to make one of these fabric covers, and I literally just played it and followed along, you know, paused here and there while I cut things out and glued things down. But yeah, I'm so thankful. Thank you so much, Charlotte. I have made fabric covers before, but this one, it was, yeah, a bit easier to follow, I think, and a bit better quality, and using the closures, that was kind of fun. And yeah, I'll just link that below and you can follow along with that one if you would like. But I thought I'd just show you how I've taken on that video and now am running with it. So here are my two covers, like I said, that I've done. I did put the same fabric on the inside just because it's so beautiful and I want to show it off. And I made these out of a manila folder. So this is the part where I'll show you how I do it. So grab a manila folder. If you use the coloured ones rather than the normal standard manila folder, that's just, you know, that plain beigey yellowy colour, the coloured ones are a bit thicker, so I've been using the coloured ones. Whoops, there it goes. Because yeah, they just have a bit more sturdiness, and you could back them onto, I don't know, scrapbook paper or cardstock to give them more sturdiness anyway, but because the fabric I'm using is quite thick and this is already thicker card, it's just fine the way it is, so this is why I like it. So when I measure my cover, I just, you know, didn't think too much about it, just went for whatever size that I wanted, and I came up with the size of 20 centimeters in height. So I just measure and mark it and do the same over here. So I'm just going to prop you up, move my table a little bit. I hope you're not shaking too much, but I just have to prop my table up because one of the legs is shorter than the others, and I have to prop it up on a unfolded paper. Actually, that's what I use. And then I mark 20 centimeters there, and I have it 13.5 centimeters across. Again, no particular reason why I chose these measurements, but as you can see, I've already marked them out, so I'm just showing you the process though. Marking it again, and then I go across and rule it. And the good thing is you don't have to rub out these lines or anything because it's all going to get covered with fabric. And there's my journal shape. I'm sorry about the shadows and everything. I still can't work out the best way to do this. But anyway, hopefully it's clear enough for you to follow along if you're wanting to make a fabric cover journal. So then I cut the top layer of the manila folder first, because if I cut them together it does that thing where it skews and the top layer will move and the bottom layer will be a bit wider than the top layer. So I just cut them out singly first. Look at my camera holder with the loop, you can see the shadow. And then I cut it this way. Just to the edge, flip it open. Oh hey, look. So these folders, they're actually ones that I use myself to store things in, obviously. These store things in file folders. I haven't gone out especially to buy these to make a journal cover. I've just gone and rummaged through my own storage folders and gone, what can I move out? And I thought I got them all out and put them in a different manila folder. But no, these are, by the way, do you know Blackout Poetry? So it's where you get book pages, a random book page, and you pull out words to make a poem or a quote or a line that speaks to you. Okay, and alright, so I'm just reading these. I did these when I was going through my depression and anxiety, so a few years ago, and I'm just reading them. So this one says, she was thinking about problems, comma, or semicolon, the big issues needn't trouble her, it's alright. Hope. So sometimes you can write your own words on it. In silence, facing God, he whispered, life. From out of the pit, blackness, hang on, keep breathing. Oh, so it's speaking to me. So it's like when you're in that pit of blackness and you're in this silence, this dark silence, and that's all you can see. And then you turn to God and he whispers life. He speaks life into that place of the pit of darkness and of death. And from out of that pit of darkness he speaks life. And that gives you the hope to hang on, keep breathing, keep living, keep fighting. And this one, alone in privacy, whisper, search, answer, laugh, tell, ask, in a journal. So that's all about what journaling is for me. It's your place to be alone in your privacy, your private place. You can whisper, you can ask questions, you can find answers when you're writing. You can laugh when you're writing, you can tell it's anything, your journal. You can ask anything of it. All in a journal. That's what journal is. I'm so sorry. This is like just going off on a tangent, but I thought, maybe someone needed to hear that, and you just never know. Maybe that was in there for a reason. And back to the tutorial. See, yeah, my tutorials, some of them are really formal and, good like that, but I'm a very informal person, so very casual, and I hope that's what I do on my channel, I just kind of go off here and everywhere with my stories and things. So I hope that was helpful. Not planned at all, but there you go. So back to the tutorial, going across. Sorry, just laughing. And sometimes it just helps me, it reminds me oh yeah, I wrote those at a time when I needed to write those things. Well, not really write them, it was finding it in the page of a book, which combines everything I love. Writing, poetry, journaling, reading, and sharing your journey. Anyway, so here's that's what I start with to get my fabric cover journal, the exact same size that I've made for my own. But I thought I'd show you how I make other ones too. So when I get the rest of this, so don't waste any of it, I'm going to make another little journal. So over here I'm going to go, I don't know, 10 across. And that's what I mean, I'm just eyeballing it and going, yeah, that looks alright. That's an alright size for a journal. So then I'm cutting that down there, and that is a, half size journal for a smaller one that I can cover in fabric. Alright, and then we go down here, cut the second layer, because you got the first layer as a guide, so it's perfect. Alright, so there are my two little journals, and because I've already used the fold in the middle folder, that's perfect. But then these ones, they're the offcuts. All I do is I fold it myself. So I'm going to go across as far as I can go. Wait a second, this way first. I'm going to make a small journal. And again, I'll just eyeball how large I want it. Yeah, maybe there. And this is all preparation for future fabric cover journals, but just to show you how I make use of the manila folder. And then because of that edge, I could get a corner cutter thingy, corner punch, or just cut it, but I will just cut it shorter. Like, I could keep the rounded corners, but no, I'm going to make my corners at right angles. So there it is. And then I have another little journal, and I guess you don't have to cover these with fabric. I'm just thinking, like, that could just be one of those little journals that you put in a journal, like a journal within a journal, put it in a pocket. So, or just a card, like, you know, you've got a little card. So many ways to use this, honestly. So many ways to put that in a journal. So then I'll get the other one, fold it over, cut it to size down here, and then get rid of that round corner. Alright, so there's another cute little journal cover. And then with these ones, so what did I do? I can't remember. I think I must have done that, but then just cut it down because it's really quite long. Because I wouldn't have gone that way. So yeah, I probably went like this. So then just cut it down again. And I guess you could have like a really long journal if you wanted. So my thing is not straight, so I'm just going to eyeball that one to get it straight. So to get rid of that corner, this time I'm going to cut it this way. And same thing, I'll just do one layer first, fold it back over and get that second layer so it's matched up nicely. And then there is another journal cover. So you see you can get 3 different sizes, well actually 5, from just one manila folder. So I'm going to grab the other thing, and it'll probably give you 2, 4, 6 different sizes now, because this one will be different again. Now I'm making sure I'm matching up this top line here to get that straight, because all the other cuts might be wonky. So at least I have one edge that I know is straight. And I'll just double check that bottom one. It's pretty straight actually. And then, let me get rid of that. I'll just trim off the top bit again. And then cut that top layer. If I can, hang on. Fold it over, flip that out the way, and grab the rest of it to cut. So, one manila folder, and I get 6 different size covers out of it, which is really fun. So, you know, you get a lot of use out of one manila folder, which is really cool. And just to show you, I will be making in the future, this is the beautiful, I'm going to call it lavender fabric that I got from Gina from the Firefly Studio with that giveaway I'm doing with one of her journals. And I'll link it below because there is still time to enter actually. It closes on Saturday, I think it is. Or closes on Friday, but I'll announce the winner on Saturday. So I'm going to make some fabric cover journals with this beautiful fabric she gave me, and because it's purple or lilac, the manila folder, even though you don't really see it, but because this one is, I think it's thinner material and it's white, so yeah, I would want lilac behind it anyway in case you can see through it. So I'll save that for a different time though, because what I'm going to do in this video, I've already pre-prepared the journal we're going to make in this video, and I'll show you how I do it all, and it's literally just following along with Charlotte Peterson's video. So if you don't get a clear idea of what I'm doing here, just go visit her video and follow along, because it's really, really good. This is just showing you the ribbon that I'll be using for the lavender journals too, by the way. Alright, so here is my little, I'm making a smaller one, a smaller version with this same blue fabric. What I do is I just cut one piece of fabric first, and roughly, I don't measure, but I'll measure it for you guys here. It's about 2.5 centimeters border around this, so that when I fold it over, there's enough to kind of glue it down, if that makes sense. So I measure one bigger, then I kind of measure one smaller, and yeah, I don't really measure the borders. I just put the fabric on here and go, oh yeah, I'll cut there. And it's a bit wonky because all this is going to get covered anyway when that happens. So as long as it's the border here is smaller than the border here, then you're going to cover it over anyway. And you could, like, again, there's so many different ways you could do this. If you've got really thick fabric, you could probably just leave the manila folder as is, or cover it with cardstock, or do this part first and put the fabric over the top. If you want to use different fabric, you can use different fabric, or put the cardstock over the top of this. There's different orders you can do things, different materials, different methods. But this is just what I'm going to do for my one. So first thing I'm going to do is glue this one down, because I'm going to flip this one over the top, because my edges are nice on this, and not so much on this one because it's all going to get covered. And I am going to just glue a bit in from the edge, so that when I sew, that's the other thing, I sewed these around the edges with the fabric cover journals, which I love, but I'm just going to kind of catch all the middle with the glue. Not sure if it's necessary, but because it's all going to get sewed down at the edges and everything, but I'm going to put it down like that, and then just position it, you know, in the middle roughly, or very rough. Squish it out. And again, I would use fabric glue if I had it, but the only place I can get it is an hour away. Living in a small country town, we don't have much here, but an hour away there's this place where I get it, but I don't go there often, so I just use craft glue. It works fine anyway, so completely fine, but I would prefer to use fabric glue if I did have it, but craft glue is totally fine. And this is a problem that I have. If anyone has any advice how to do this, I always have this problem of it buckles. So when you do that, can you see it buckles there? But when you stretch it out, it looks like it's fine. So I'm not sure. When you put it, sometimes I try to do one side first, glue one side, let it dry, and then I'll do the other side to try and not make it buckle. I don't know. Does anyone know what I mean? How it stretches when you open it up, it stretches, but when you do that, it buckles. So I don't know how to best make it so it's just flat when you have it out open, or when you have it closed. How do you get it so it's flat the whole way across? Let me know. Someone has to have a tip about that, right? But I just do my best. I kind of just mold it and work it until it's there, and I'm not too fussed if it's a tiny bit buckly or whatever, because I don't know. If it's not too bad, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just trying to stretch this buckle out though. If I can get it perfectly flat, I will. But I'm not going to be too devastated or anything if it's not working for me. Alright, so that's okay. It's fine. Now I grab my... see, now I have forgotten something. Yeah, okay, but it doesn't matter. See, mistakes, you can always work them into a journal, and then you can often find new ways of creating things. So I actually like this. Originally, what you're supposed to do is put the ribbon down, your closure, put that down first, and you just glue it all the way across. So I didn't do that. But that's fine because this ribbon is really pretty. I don't have any of that other ribbon left that I used on the other journals. So I'm going to just, again, see, I'm just eyeballing, going in the middle, roughly. Putting it across, and then I'll stick it down. Alright. So, I'm just going to get rid of this glue here because there's a little trick, and this is a bit tricky. I'm not sure how to explain it, so I'll just have to do it and you'll see. And I'm trying to avoid the edges with glue because, yeah, like I said, we'll be sewing around it. So same thing with the ribbon. We'll be sewing the ribbon down anyway, so we don't need it all the way to the edges. So it still looks pretty like that. So when you open it, that's what you will see on the page. It's just a decorative feature. But originally, yes, you're supposed to put it underneath. The very first thing you do is put your closure down, glue it down to the back of this manila folder, then put your fabric, your inner fabric on top of that. So usually it wouldn't matter about this part because you could just do a rough job and glue this down, but because I have put it on top, it needs to be glued down properly. You know, of course, if you did this first, it would all just get mushed down with the fabric. But that's fine. I like kind of showing how mistakes are absolutely fine, and they force you to be creative in a lot of ways and to do something different that you didn't expect before. And you work out that, hey, everything's still okay, and there's always a way to fix things. And maybe, okay, you might stuff a project up so much, but you learn from it the next time. For the next time, yes. So like, I'm actually fine with that. I would do that again intentionally, just because I like that look. So if you have a pretty ribbon and you want to show it off, this is one way to do it. Alright, next I am going to flip it over, and what I would do is just going to check which one I want to be my front cover. So I want you, I think. It doesn't really matter with the pattern, but yeah, I think I want that. So let's, and I know I want this beautiful part to be the front, on the front cover, so I'm just going to do this. Alright, and now I'm going to get my, what's this called? Manila folder, and glue inside from where I'm going to stitch so that the stitching will miss the glue. In fact, actually, I didn't do this the last time. The first time I did this with those first two cover journals that I did that I showed you just at the start of this video, I went right to the edge with my glue, and I just went through it with my sewing machine, and it was fine, except for the fact, like, it worked. I had to go so slow. Sometimes I just went using the handle and pushed it down. Because the glue was so thick in some places that it wouldn't have gone through otherwise without me just going really steady and slow. So I'm just going to put more glue down because I don't want it to buckle. Okay, and then I'm going to put you on top. In fact, I think I need to do it this way so I can see my borders. Yes, yes I do. Alright, and now this is another tricky part. Trying to work out, sorry, I'm just going to move you down a bit. Trying to work out how to pull and stretch the fabric so it doesn't buckle. Alright, so I've got it upside down for a start. Alright, here's my front cover. So I'm just kind of molding it, stretching it out. And yeah, I think the outside cover is easier to do without it buckling. The inside part is just so, it can be a wrestle getting it so it doesn't buckle the inside, but the outside's usually fine. Alright, next I'm going to cut my corners. And I found a new method to do this actually. Because, yes, so I don't like doing that. This is something I learned through this, making these journals. So I used to do that, what I just did. But now I kind of don't want it to be like that as much, like of that much of an angle. I want it softer. Like that is really harsh angle. So I want it to be, I don't know if that, I'm not sure if my words are going to explain this right, but see the difference? That's like just gone straight across. This one I've kind of, I don't know, lessened it, because that will cover more of the cover. It will cover more of the cover. Yeah. I'm glad this is a showing video, not just a telling, because I'm not doing a very good job explaining. But yeah, because it's, I've got to get it close to this edge. So yeah, I just kind of do this by sight and play. There's no real, I feel like other people are much better at doing this and they know why they're doing things and how it works. Whereas I just kind of play and do it until I'm happy with it. Because I'm not really sure what I'm doing. I'm not a fabric person. But I just go, oh yeah, this is how I want it to look and this is how I'm going to get it to look that way. And I'll just play until I get it that way. Anyway, so that's how I'm doing these corners anyway. And it's just the way I found that works best for me in terms of covering the corner so that nothing shows. Because often what would happen is when I flip these over, you'd still see a part in the middle here of the back of this cardboard, of the middle folder. So this way I find it gives you better coverage. And again, I don't really know why this angle is better. And sometimes I go all the way to the corner, sometimes I go a bit out. I still haven't worked out which way is the best. I'm still experimenting. But my aim is just simply to have the whole entire thing covered. And so now I'm just checking if it is. If I need to cut anything more. Yes, so these ones all nicely cover. This one, the one that I did with that straight cut, not so much. You can see that very little corner there, well you probably can't, is exposed. Whereas these ones, the full thing is covered, and what I do have to do afterwards is cut that, trim that down in fact. So I don't know, that's just what I found. Now, let's get gluing. So I'm going to, well, let me clean up my glue here, it's spurting out everywhere. So I've got a tissue on hand. So I'm going to, again, try to miss that inner, not glue here, basically. I want to glue the edges, which have to be glued down anyway because they're not going to get sewed down. Because, yeah, that's what I was saying before about the sewing machine, right? So I, was going so slowly with it because I just went full ball trying to sew through the glue and everything that I snapped the needle. The needle broke. And I had a bit of a panic because I was like, you know, I consider myself a sewing machine newbie and never had that happen to me before. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't sew ever again. And I will have to get like a technician, a sewing machine technician to come in and fix it for me. And I live in a small country town and who the heck is going to know how to do that? And I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And then I remembered when I unpacked the sewing machine that I was pretty sure I saw some spare needles. And they were those ones that didn't have holes in them. So I was